Hey friends, we are here at the Chicago National Film Festival with Greg Kwedar, who's who is the co-writer of Train Dreams. Now, when you were given the book, there's a lot of like different elements. There's a lot of fatherhood in there. There's a lot about family. There's like some supernatural elements into it. When you decided to like sit down and co-write this, what parts of it did you think to yourself like, I need to keep this in, and maybe we could talk about this later, or this doesn't have to be in the book or the movie?
It's funny, the first time, because I had never actually read the novella until Clint handed it to me. Dennis Johnson was a very influential writer to him, and Train Dreams is one of his favorite books. So when it like came to him, like the kind of like the both the privilege, but also the daunting kind of task ahead of adapting one of your heroes was there. But I had never actually read any of his work. And so my first experience of reading it was just letting it wash over me and just trying to feel it for the first time and let every sensation, every emotion come through. And then the second time I read it with a pen. And I just underlined anything that spoke to me. Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and then just move all of that over to the page. But then I found that I underlined almost the whole book. So it wasn't as useful a task. But it was helpful to start actually thinking of it in terms of shape. And I think, the structure for us came quite quickly. And then it became more about, how do you translate things that are sometimes very, wide, encompassing moments of writing in the briefest of sentences that contain multitudes. Like, how do you actually move that into the film format, and the visual language, and then that became like the real work, and just finally getting to a place where you had the confidence to just run with it, and it took us, having to go over to the real place and be there ourselves as writers in Bonner's Ferry to start to find that.
That kind of actually leads into my second question to you, is like, because I know like when you write it out, you're reading it and you're going over it and you're editing it, but when you get to the final film part, was there a certain scene that you read and you're like, I can't wait to see how this looks, and then when you finally saw it, you're like, it either blew your mind or you were like, oh, this is too much?
It's funny, some of the most resonant scenes in the novella are really hard to translate to film and didn't always make it to the final cut. Okay. But then Clint and through the creation of the movie created signature moments that never existed before in the book. It was like that was the kind of dance of it all. But I would say there's a scene with this girl who may or may not have been raised by wolves and may or may not be his daughter. He finally sees late in the story, and that was a moment that was going to be incredibly delicate to film, that they found this like right sweet spot by the end of the edit. And then we took a character that was very slight on the page, this widow Claire, played by Carrie Condon, and gave her a much richer, fuller life in the script. And as soon as that transformation happened on the page, I think we knew its potential, and then to see someone like Carrie Condon take it to where it belonged. There's so many little gems and gifts from the whole thing.
I know right now that you're filming something here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Being in the city right now, what is the one television show or film that's based in Chicago that's your favorite to watch?
Oh, wow. It's been really fun to go back to some of the John Hughes films of the era. And I think, The Bear was incredibly inspiring. I watched the first season right when we wrapped Sing Sing, the production of Sing Sing. So it's really, I feel a deep connection to it, given like when I watched it and where I watched it. And just being here, it felt like a city that, for a lot of us who aren't from here, lives large in the imagination, and felt like, despite being part of so many classic movies, still felt very that there's still so much more to discover. And then also just the people here. I've been so welcomed. The crew in Chicago is the best I've ever worked with, and it's been an incredible experience so far.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It was great to meet you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Oh, my job.